So we're going to talk formative assessment today, and if you're on the doc, you should see our agenda and all the cool tools we'll be talking about today. So first we're going to do some introductions here in the actual physical classroom. Then we're going to talk about what is formative assessment using our Padlet, so we can get some of our virtual people in on that, so that's kind of cool. And then we're going to test out some cool formative assessment tools. One I just found like 2 hours ago. I'm pretty excited about it, and the name is really cool. And then we're going to do some wrap up and takeaways. So first thing, if you can click on under Think Pair Chat, you should see a link that opens up to a Padlet, and you can just double click on that. And then if you want to answer the questions that are posted here, or maybe you have some examples of your own about formative assessment. So if you guys can just double click in there, add some notes. So on the Padlet, if you double click anywhere, you can add your name. And then write a little something about how you assess students, or maybe how you've used assessment or formative assessment in your own class. So I can see we have some examples popping up, so I'm just going to delete my little initial post. So if you guys wouldn't mind adding to that. And if you need a link to the presentation, let me know. I'll be happy to help you out. So some of the examples that we have here from the room, think, pair, share, that's excellent. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Always great if you don't have tech error, if your tech's not working, awesome. Raise hand, worksheets. Chat, think, pair, share, chat with a partner. D2L, or desire to learn. Has anyone used that learning management system? It's learning management system, Schoology, Edmodo, MyGCC, all that stuff. Listening to conversations as students think, pair, share, and allowing them to come and chat about what they've learned. Excellent, all great ideas. And it looks like we have a few down there. So we have Socrative is also a fantastic one. Thanks, Clint. And it looks like somebody else is in the doc. That's great. Nice. So today, hey Anne, thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about some ways we can use technology to enhance our formative assessments, because this is typically the way we go. We make something on our computer, like a worksheet or a quiz. Maybe we're doing a multiple choice quiz. We stand at the copier, make 20 copies, it'll give some time. We pass it out to our students. Okay, maybe that goes quickly. Maybe we have students handing it back, and then they take the test. Okay, that takes some time. And then we grade it. We run with all this awesome feedback. Maybe they'll read it, maybe they won't, I don't know. Then we pass it back to the students, and then repeat that cycle all over again. So some ways that we can, help simplify that, or maybe help make the process a little bit easier, is by using some technology, because that's what our students are using anyway, or your future students will be using anyway. So a lot of schools are one-to-one, some have labs, some have iPad carts or Chromebook carts. So some ways that technology can help with this process is providing immediate feedback. Most of these tools are free, so we don't have to hurt Mother Nature with all of our copies. They're engaging. Some of them are game-based, so kids are having fun. They don't know that they're learning or being tested on. And most importantly, they get that immediate feedback either from the program or from you, the teacher. Some of the tools you can actually do individualized feedback with the student, so that's really cool, just in time for learning. What we're going to talk about is Go Formative. And if you're in the some more doc, I'll send you the link in a second. If you just click here where it says Go Formative, it's going to take you to the Go Formative site. And for those of you in the chat, I'm just going to copy that and put it in our chat box down here. So if you click on that, Go Formative is really neat in the sense that, as you can see in the example here, you can see students' responses in real time as they're doing it. So it's similar to Pear Deck and Nearpod, some of the tools we haven't talked about yet in your class, but we'll get there. So you can see them actually filling it out as we go. And students join, just through their, you give them a code, or you can sign them up as a batch. So if we go to, I'm going to have to log in here. Oh, check it out, I won't. Nice. Oh yeah, and there's always someone down here to help. I've asked lots of questions, and they're always there for support. So I can go in, and I'm going to show you the one that I made. This one's about Thomas Edison and just some fast facts. And they always have random sayings, like race car spelled backwards is race car. That was kind of interesting. So here I can link anything to this. So I can link images, I can throw in video, text content, and I can, as you can see on this picture, I can add in text hotspots. So maybe that's a labeling of a cell that I can put in there. I can add in text box features, links for more information about Thomas Edison was on there. And just the typical multiple choice questions, I can select which one's right, so it automatically grades for me, so there I don't have to spend a lot of time checking off, yeah, you got it, or no, you didn't. So that's really nice. I can also upload my own picture, so if I already have a worksheet that I want them to do, I can just upload the PDF and pop it in there. So that's a really neat feature as well. I can adjust points for all the different assignments. And Go Formative is a really unique tool. It just has a lot of stuff in it that you can add, a lot of different features. So if I go to preview, that's a fun fact, this is what my students would see. So there's my YouTube video. When I click on that, it goes to information about Thomas Edison. And I can click over here, and it's going to give me some text about him, whatever I said about him. The light bulb. Here's my fast facts. Here I can also have a neat space where students can draw as their response. So maybe if you're doing this in a Spanish class, maybe you're saying the word in Spanish and they have to draw what the word is or what the noun is. That's a great example for that. And then here's their typical multiple choice fill in the blank type questions. And then they just click submit and you can check out the answers. So that's Go Formative. And then you can also see the live results. So if I were to assign this to you guys, we can see the live results as you guys go. It's really neat. Yeah, like I said, random facts. So I can go in and I can see how students did on each question. So I went and I tried this out myself. And here's, I had to make several different accounts. So those are just some examples there. And then it also marks if things are right or wrong, and I can provide feedback to the student to see how they did. I can type in feedback here, or I can rate them, how well they did. I can adjust the points. Yeah. So let's go forward. So I want you guys to take about 5 minutes or so, maybe create an account and just try to build something unique with it. That's a good question, Michelle. I'm not sure if it's an app. I do know that there's a little support guy at the bottom. If you click on him, he should be able to answer your question. I know we all need more time to play. And then you can also check out the pre-made stuff. So like Clint has here, there are pre-made stuff that you can use. And there's also a teacher community, so you don't have to recreate the wheel. And again, you know, these are just going to be five quick tools that we're going to get a little taste of, and then you guys can explore, you know, in a later time. So we're going to go on to our next tool. So that was Go Formative. And our next tool, this is very new. This one just launched in August, and it's called Wiser.me. And if you click on Wiser.me, I'm going to pop that into our chat as well, just in case you guys need it. There you go. Now I've already created an account, so I'm just going to log in here. But if you want to create an account while I show you an example, bless you. Bless you again. You're all out of bless yous. So this is one I created about cells. Now I will say this one does not have an automatic save function, which I was pretty bummed about to find out later as I was finished. I had to recreate it, so I was really mad. So please, as you're using this one, save often. Just like in Smart Notebook, we want to save often. I'm sure you guys just learned that lesson. This is what the students see actually. So here's my fast facts they're going to learn about. Here's a little video I can put in there. And this one's interesting. I like the reason I want to show you Wiser is because they can just input their answers right into the labels here. So they have image tagging, I think it's called. And on the test piece, you would just pop in your own images. They also have matching and fill in the blank, which I thought was pretty cool. options as well. And these are just some short answer pieces. Again, students would just log in. There's no need for an email, which is nice. And they just log in with your code and they do the assessment. And again, you can give them feedback too. So I'm going to walk through a little bit here on Wiser. So again, they just launched in August. They're very new. I think they only have 200 teachers in their community. And I actually got to speak with the lady about, she's from Israel, who created this. So she was, she called herself a momtrepreneur, and she won a Kickstarter program to start her Wiser app. So there's lots of stuff that's already made, and for 250 teachers, that's pretty good. But I'm going to create something new. So I'm creating an account. Hopefully you guys have all done that. I'm just going to click Start Now. And then here I'm just going to do some third grade sounds good to me. Third grade math. And someone else's will be more specific. And these are all the features you can add into your Wiser worksheet. Hopefully your spelling's a little bit better than mine at 4:30 on a Thursday. And then you can see how it changes the different, it has like a heading font for that. I can add in images and links. So I would just click on each of those and it would give me options for each of those. So I can even add a title and a little description to a video, because I like giving students a little bit about what they're watching and what to look for instead of, here's a video, watch this, it's great. So warming them up to the video, maybe some questions to think about. So again, I'm going to give you about 5 to 10 minutes to check out Wiser, and please remember to save often. Learn from my mistakes and save often. Here we are. Actively learn. And the reason I selected actively learn is because you can take articles from the web, or like this one's I think is from Time Kids. Whoops. And you can insert assessment into here along with notes that you want the students to do. So here I made this one. What was this one about? Halloween candy, something. How much does Halloween cost, I think is what it was about. So this is just a comprehension question. So they read the first paragraph, and then there's an inserted question that they answer. Here's a note. So how many people are in your family? How much would Halloween cost for your family? If it's $74.34. Just some little everyday math that we can do. Most money goes towards costumes for adults than children. Shocking, right? So there's just a little math question there. And then at the end, a little exit ticket. So what's really neat about Actively Learn is you can just pull in content that's already created, so you don't have to create your own, and just add in your own questions. Also, there's a huge teacher community on there. There's our Actively Learn link. Huge teacher community that you can just grab stuff from. They also work really well with, I think it's called CK12, which is, I'm trying to get to the example. There we go. Which is great content. So this one was already made, and I was just able to just grab it as an example. So it looks like a typical classroom textbook about science. And here you can add, you can link it to links, link it to images and text and all kinds of stuff. So let's create a little account for that. And we're going to check that one out as well. So Actively Learn. I'm going to go back here. Yes, yeah, so I'm going to see, yes, yeah, you would see all the results. So here's my class. I can't remember if I tried this one or not with a test account. We're on actively learning. So I'm trying to get out of that. There we go. So I can just add a new piece. I can import from a Google Doc. Look, Google. Yeah. PDF, or I can create my own quiz. The quiz is, and let me just hop in there real quick. It's spelled really weird. I think that's how I spell it. Q-U-I-Z-I-Z-Z. Yeah. And just like in Kahoot, they would just click join a game and they would be added in. So if I go to get started, again, there's a huge teacher community, so you don't have to recreate the wheel. And what I also like about this is, you notice if I scroll down through the questions, through the categories, it gives me the questions that are already in that quiz. So I can just go and see, okay, does this match what I want to talk to my students about? So then I can check out the ones that I've made. And then I can create. So it's very easy. I'm just going to click create here. I'm just going to add formative assessments. And I can choose if I want it to be public, so if I want other teachers to be able to use it and edit it, or if I just want it to be private, only me. Sharing is caring, so I'm going to make it public. And formative assessment is great. So that's what are some examples of formative assessment that we talked about? And here I would put in my options. So we talked about quizzes, and we talked about Go Formative. We didn't really talk about Padlet, so I'm going to mark that one. Which one? Which is not an example. That's how I should phrase this question. Which is not. Oh. And then we'll add in actively learn. As you can see here, just like with Kahoot, you can change the timing all the way up to 5 minutes. So it's great for if students have some processing. I know that's a long time. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Let's just really quick answer the question. So I don't know if you guys heard in the chat, with Kahoot, I think it's only up to 2 minutes, but this one is 3 to 5. And you can also upload a supporting image if you wanted to. I don't have any. I'm not going to add that. Again, auto save here. So I'm just going to click finish. And here I'm going to just choose my topics. That sounds good. And finish and create. Now what's really neat is I can play this live in a class, or I can give this to as homework for my students, and then I can automatically get the feedback. And then I can share it out with all my peeps. So if I'm going to play live, I have all these options here, just like in Kahoot. I can mix up the question order. I only have one question, so really that's not really an option for this example. I can show the leaderboard, just like in Kahoot, who got the most correct. Show the answers, which is great because it gives that specific feedback back to the students, and it's immediate. So remember, grading all those papers, it gives them immediate feedback. And I can show the timer, so it'll actually count down on the top of the screen, so it gives the students a visual of how much time they have left on the question. And then the memes, they're really funny, but they're appropriate. Like, yay, you got it right, or sorry, try again. So I'm going to leave that on just to show you an example. So if I click proceed here, and then just like in Kahoot, they would go to a website. So if you guys someone would not mind, humoring me for a moment, join.quizzes.com, and then the code is there. And it shows me how many students are in the class. You'll notice up here it says 0. So you should be able to type in the code and type in your name. And while you guys are doing that, I'm just going to check in. Or get that in 1 minute, Michelle. Oh, look at that. Emily and Brittany team, nice. And it automatically assigns you a little avatar. I don't know how you can adjust that or not. Rachel, are you a goldfish or a jellyfish? Well, you're on fire, Rachel. That's what that means. You are ready to roll. Oh, look, we got someone from our St. Vincent group, and so if I wanted to take someone out, I can just kick them out of the class. That's kind of nice, because maybe some students would type in something inappropriate as their name and just kick them out, you know, that's kind of good. So I'm going to start the game. It's only one question, so don't sweat it. So your screen might look a little bit different. And then here, this is my teacher view. And I can see how students did. Wow, Emily and Brittany group. I think you might need to add some more people to your group there. So then I can see how many students got it right, how many students got it wrong, and I can end the game. So that's nice. That's a nice piece there. And I will just end the game there. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I want to end it. And okay. So again, you can search for quizzes. You can search by topic area, which is really nice. Some of the ones that I put for professional development really weren't professional development. Thank you, Kaylin. So I want you guys to check out quizzes. You can also search for topics in here or create your own just by clicking on Create. So I'll give you about 5 minutes for that.